Since his epic breakout in Guardians of the Galaxy, Dave Bautista has become one of Hollywood's hottest assets, and everyone wants a piece of him. But before he charmed the world as Drax the Destroyer, his life was a total disaster. With no education, no career, and a family to provide for, he could have given up. Instead, his desperation fueled his desire to make something of himself. And now he's slaying more than just zombies. He's taking Tinseltown by storm, too. Before he was Batista, he was bouncing around. It may surprise you to learn that Dave Bautista was a shy and introverted kid. Not only that, but he grew up poor and without a father. As Dave admitted to Ellen, he started working at just 17, in a career that most teens would totally avoid. During this time, his life was a bit of a mess, complete with fighting and the occasional arrest. But he had one saving grace: bodybuilding. This hobby helped him to get his first job.
I was a bouncer from the time I was 17 till I was about 30.
It also gave him an outlet for his frustrations, and he really needed it.
I was broke and had no future and had 2 kids, and I was desperate. When I say I was desperate, I mean, I'm not joking, I was desperate. I had nothing. What led me into, looking for a career was I had to go one year for Christmas and borrow money from a club owner because I didn't have money to buy my kids Christmas presents.
Then he had an epiphany. He decided to enter the world of professional wrestling. He certainly looked the part. Unfortunately, his first audition was an epic failure, and he realized looks aren't everything. The WWE casting crew told him he'd never be a wrestler and suggested he stop trying. He didn't listen and decided to work even harder at it. It paid off. Despite only becoming a pro wrestler at 30, within a few years he was world champion and a fan favorite in the Wrestling Federation. But he was just getting started. Back to square one. Batista's life didn't really start until he was 30 and he joined WWE. But it wasn't an easy transition. The first 3 decades of his life did more than just inspire him to make a change. They caused serious FOMO. As things started looking up and his bank balance improved, Batista realized that there was a lot he still wanted to do. For starters, he wanted to tell stories. And what better way to do that than to break into Hollywood? Only there was a high price. Literally, when Dave retired from wrestling, he left behind more than his stage name. He lost the prestige he'd built up over a decade.
I'm living a second life here because I was successful as a professional wrestler, but then when I left it, I lost everything. I lost everything. I went broke, and I had to rebuild my name.
But he wasn't afraid of starting from the bottom once again. As the former wrestler explained, a lot of people, when they leave professional wrestling, they're searching for that spotlight somewhere else. And that was never my mission, to be a movie star. I really just wanted to be an actor. But you have to start somewhere, and with Dave's physique and past, that meant action roles. Just 2 years after starting to act, he landed the role of Drax in 2014's Guardians of the Galaxy. This leap did more than just change his career. It made him a victim of stereotyping.
Until they meet me, they don't know what to expect because of, I think, mostly my appearance and my background. I think people think that I'm going to be that guy,
In response to critics who typecast Batista as a beefcake without substance, the actor said, "I'm capable of more than just being a big musclehead. I want to move forward with my career." So prepare to be impressed by the next step in his career. Dave Bautista wants to be one of the best actors of his generation. But how does he plan on going from inexperienced action star to award-winning thespian? You'll find out soon. The role that changed everything. Sure, the first half of this guy's life was like a tearjerker family drama, but that's not the case anymore. After entering the MCU, things changed virtually overnight. Most importantly, Dave earned an entirely new fan base, and they loved him. As the actor admitted to Collider, "That role changed the trajectory of my life. People just fell so in love with the comedic side of Drax, they tapped into that. Then they tapped into it more. Then they really dug a hole into it." Between the 2 Guardians of the Galaxy films, Batista was a James Bond villain and starred in Escape Room 2 with Sylvester Stallone. Then, in Blade Runner 2049, he got a chance to showcase some emotional acting, further impressing his fans. So, of course, his fans were shocked to learn that the actor would be leaving the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise after the 3rd film, which just confused the star. Dave admitted,
And I didn't think it was going to be news because I figured everybody assumed that this is how this works. We work in trilogies, and James Gunn has already announced that it's his last film, and when James is done, I'm done.
But there's another reason he's keen to say goodbye to Drax.
And I'm also going to be 54 years old by the time Guardians 3 comes out, and just like the shirtless thing is getting harder and harder for me.
But this doesn't mean he's quitting action roles or the superhero genre. When action and drama merge, you get zombies. Although he's appeared in several films since his first time as Drax, his latest role in Army of the Dead really got everyone talking. Before you object that this is just another zombie action film, it really isn't. For Bautista, it's a redemption story, both on and off screen. The movie is his first time playing a leading role, while balancing action with emotion. For Dave, playing a more emotional role was the first step towards becoming a great actor. Before the release of Army of the Dead, Bautista admitted, "If I'm successful with Army of the Dead, that means I'm successful with the lead. That means more people will be willing to listen to me. I want people to really recognize me as a respected actor." That's it. So how did he tap into his emotions? By drawing on his pain. Dave revealed, "I didn't go to drama school, I didn't have the theatrical background. I've got enough baggage, and I'm carrying around enough pain to last me for the rest of my life as an actor. That's what I draw from." It's definitely working. He's landed a role in Knives Out 2. He's been in Dune and the comedy Stuber, and still shows no signs of slowing down. In fact, 2 years ago, Bautista admitted, "It's a little bit surreal at the moment. I'm 52 years old and my career is just getting started." Weirdly, despite his age, he still hasn't had a shot at the one role he really wants. The possibilities are endless, but Dave just wants one. He started his acting career in the MCU, but Bautista has his eye on a specific DC role. Whenever he's asked about his dream part, Dave gives the same answer. He wants to play one of the coolest villains to have been created. Oh, it would be Bane all day long. He's so determined to play Batman's enemy that he met with a production company. The actor elaborated, "I want to play Bane so bad, I went to Warner Brothers, had an appointment with DC, and said, 'I want to play Bane.' I'm not kidding. They were a little like, 'Whoa, we're not even casting Bane.' I was like, 'I don't care, I'm playing him.' Of course, his fans are on board, but it doesn't look like DC is. The Batman is coming to screens in 2022, and Dave Bautista isn't on the cast list. However, that doesn't mean we won't see him as Bane, because there are already 2 sequels planned, so who knows what the future holds. And if he doesn't snag that role, he has a backup, a writer. In an interview with Polygon, Dave revealed, "I've given a lot of thought to interesting stories I could play, and the one that seems to keep coming back to me is Ernest Hemingway. But why Hemingway? Simple.
Didn't want to just get typecast as that, that guy coming from the WWE who would, kick open doors and shoot somebody and say something stupid."
Before he can take on the parts of his dreams, there's still something in his way. The downside to success. Fame isn't easy, and fame after a life of struggling is even harder, which is why Dave Bautista lives in the moment.
I live a pretty simple life, and I think, my goals are, I don't know, my goals are very grounded. It's all very grounded, and I do it for very personal reasons. So I don't get wrapped up into, how big it is, how large it is, or how people might perceive it as being like this great big career, because my life is so simple.
For this star, the worst part of acting is the attention. He admitted that this can get overwhelming. In fact, he admitted that sometimes when he sees the paps, he wants to crawl under a rock and hide. But even this desire to evade public scrutiny is rooted in the shame he felt over his past, including his first acting job. I'm going to let you in on a secret. Bautista's career is only impressive because he botched his first role. In fact, he owes all his success to failure. Dave explained that his very first role was a favor to a friend, and it didn't go as he expected. After realizing how badly he portrayed his character, he felt humiliated. The actor added, "I left that set with a sense of shame that I just could not get rid of. That's where it came from me realizing what a horrible actor I was, and this wasn't what I thought it was going to be." Since then, he's worked hard to make sure he never feels that way again. It's also why he's nervous about future roles, because it's one of those things where now the pressure's on, because people are expecting things from you. I want to deliver, and he plans on delivering more than just an award-winning performance. What's that? A third career on the horizon? Yes, you heard that correctly. According to Bautista, if you asked me to put a label on my style of acting, I would tell you I'm a dramatic actor. I understand that the way I look physically is distracting for those types of roles, but I want to play the part. I want the challenge. And that's not the only challenge he's keen to take on.
I'm always looking for the next step ahead, the next move, the next thing that's going to get me to where I want to be. And to where I want to be is going to change from now to 2 years from now. I want to be somewhere else, and it's like something that, it's like a hunger that I can never satisfy.
His next chapter will be the most exciting yet. Dave Bautista as director. He elaborated, "Even if I have to create those parts for myself, I want roles that make me a better actor and make people respect me more as an actor. My goal is to be directing somewhere in the next 5 years." So, what kinds of movies would he direct? He wants his directing career to follow the same path as his acting, with humble beginnings. The actor explained, "I have a few ideas for films that I would like to turn into scripts. Something very small and contained. Dramatic, but also inspiring. Those are the types of films I like, and the types of films I feel like I'm qualified to direct." So there you have it, guys. Expect to see the first Bautista-directed film in 5 years. Set your watches. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, stay awesome!